So as promised, Allison did not want us just to hear from her. She wanted you to have a chance to meet a few of the residents who live here at Hickory Valley. So she's picked two plum ones for you this morning. Charles Wallace is sitting next to me. Beside him is Don Kelly. And between the two of them, we're going to have a comedy routine before all is said and done. So good to have you both.
It's good to be here.
Just watch your mouth.
Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir.
I'm going to kind of be quiet a little bit and see how far they'll take it, because you've only been here, Charles, for 3 months.
A little over 3 months, I think. I really don't know. It seems like years.
You're the relative newbie.
Yes.
You've been here, Don, 2.5 years. The friendships y'all form are pretty deep pretty quickly. I guess it's kind of like your military days a little bit, Don, where you're with somebody all the time. Yeah. Is that true?
Of course, I try to avoid him all I can. Yeah.
I noticed you.
I was waiting to see where the punchline came.
We're all good friends.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit, because I won't make you go into your stories too much. Yours, I will set up for you, Charles, that you were living in Memphis. Your kids decided that they would like you to be closer to one of them. Your son in Chickamauga won, and they kind of surprised you. They picked you up one day in Memphis and said, "Come on, Dad." And this is where they brought you, and you've loved it ever since. Why? What made it so easy for you to fit in here, do you think, and feel at home?
That's the key right there. They made me feel at home. Feel like I had known them for years, and I just walked in the front door. Everybody welcomed me, and they already had my apartment set up, waiting for me. And it's just, it was better than home.
It was better than home.
Because home was just me.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly you're a social animal, and you thrive off of talking.
Really?
I've picked up on that a little bit. Don, you too. You were living in Eastridge. Yes. You and your wife, and her health had been declining a little bit, so the move here was a good one for you. When you hear Charles talk about how friendly everyone was welcoming him in, I don't think he means just the staff working here. The residents themselves are friendly.
Absolutely. My wife was very friendly and talkative, and she just fell in love with everyone, and they fell in love with her. And we would have dance routines here one day, and of course she and I were the first ones to get up and dance around, and then sometimes there would be 5 or 6 couples join us. So we just had a good time from the start, and it's all been 101%. It's been great. And when she passed, I said, well, where am I going to go? And nowhere. I'm going to stay right here. This is my home now. I have family that lives here and family that lives in Memphis, and they come to visit me quite often. Sometimes they're annoying, but most of the time I enjoy having them here.
Well,
I wonder where the annoying comes from.
You hear people, Allison was talking, I think, if not this time, once before, when we've had a conversation about kind of the loneliness factor that can occur. You mentioned living by yourself, and if you had moved, you'd be living by yourself. The fact that you are essentially around peers, does that mean a lot to have people whose stories you share and experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is there power in that?
Yes.
This is family, not just friends.
Do you think it depends on your personality, or do you think, Charles, that people might come here who are maybe a little bit more reserved, and pretty quickly they realize they can let their guard down?
Yeah.
I think that definitely. If they're reserved when they walk in the door, we're going to do our best to get them out of that as quickly as possible.
Talk about your food. I'm noticing that it got quiet in here all of a sudden because they're all eating.
Yeah.
Good food?
Good
Yes.
food. Good
And my
food.
barbecue's waiting on me back there too.
Since he's from Memphis and he's only been here for 3 months, I said, if you found a good barbecue spot, and his answer was, it's different, but you're getting there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I know, Charles, Don, you mentioned being in the service.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find a lot of your compatriots here also served?
2 or 3, but I went in 53, and most of the people here are not that old. So but we had some of the same experience. And of course, some were there before I was, and when the intense confrontations were going on. And they have more experiences to talk about than I do, because they'd done signed the treaty when I got there, but the war didn't end until about a year later. And but we grew up. I came from a spoiled 18-year-old to a man in about 2 weeks. So it's an experience that everyone should go through. You should do it one time in your lifetime. It grew me up. Is that proper English?
Today it is. It works for me. I know they didn't ask you to sign on to their PR committee, but there are people watching and they're kind of listening to everything you say, whether they themselves would consider moving here or their kids are the ones watching. Really and truly, what do you think you'd tell somebody who was thinking about it, about making, they have choices, whether they want to come here or someplace else, so what would make them choose Hickory Valley?
First of all, come visit. See what they've got to offer. Talk to some of the residents here. See how we feel about it. And then make the decision that's right for you. You
signed up day one.
Yeah.
You and your wife came here and you knew right away this was for you.
This was the place, yeah. And many years ago I was a milkman, and I delivered milk to some of the nursing homes back in the early 50s. And I said, God, don't ever put me in one of these places. But when I walked in the door here, I found it was totally and completely different from what it was back then. And I can truly say there's not been a single day that I've been here that I haven't enjoyed it. They always have something for you to do, and you can either do it or you can sit in your room and moan and groan.
Well, we're glad that you didn't choose that option today.
Amen.
Thank you for
This is not one of these places.
This is not
This is
one of
home.
these places. This is second home away from home.
Well, it is a pleasure. I'll shake both of your hands. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you.
It was lovely to visit with you. You too can come and hear from them or any of the other residents who live here. Hickory Valley Retirement right there on Ballard Drive in East Brainerd. Your contact information there on the screen. Thank you both.